give us in detail some of your future plans?
Well, the first thing I have to do is to cut some records. And then after that, I have the television show with Frank Sinatra.
Elvis Aaron Presley was born in 1935, but his legacy continues to shine. Raised in a modest two-room house, Elvis grew up in a working-class family that faced financial struggles, particularly during the Great Depression. Despite their hardships, the Presleys were a close-knit family, and Elvis developed a strong bond with his mother, who remained one of the most important figures in his life. Let's look back at the life and legacy of Elvis. Early life and musical influences.
Why do you think you've outlasted every other entertainer from the 50s and, for that matter, the 60s as well?
I take vitamin E. I don't know. I was only kidding. I just embarrassed myself, man. I don't know, dear. I enjoy the business. I like what I'm doing.
As a child, Elvis was exposed to gospel music at the Pentecostal church his family attended. The passionate, soul-stirring performances of gospel choirs made a lasting impression on him. At the same time, he was drawn to blues music, which he heard in the predominantly African-American neighborhoods of Tupelo and later Memphis, where his family relocated in 1948. Country music, which was popular in the South, also played a big role in shaping his musical tastes. In 1946, his mother bought him his first guitar for his 11th birthday. Though he initially wanted a bicycle, the gift proved life-changing. The rise of a star.
At the present time, I have no reason to change.
You don't think rock and roll is dying, man? Some people say it is.
A lot of people say it is, man, but I'll tell you, it has changed some. The music itself has changed. It's progressed quite a bit, I think.
It's better?
I think it's getting better all the time,
After graduating from Humes High School in Memphis in 1953, Elvis worked a variety of jobs, including as a truck driver. That same year, he paid $3.98 to record 2 songs at Sun's studio as a birthday present for his mother. The studio's owner, Sam Phillips, was searching for a white singer with a black sound, believing that such an artist could bridge racial divides and make blues and R&B more accessible to white audiences. When Phillips heard Elvis sing, he was intrigued. In 1954, he recorded his first single, That's All Right, a cover of a blues song by Arthur Crudup. When Memphis DJ Dewey Phillips played the song on the radio, the response was overwhelming. Soon, Elvis was performing across the South, refining his electrifying stage presence and developing his signature hip-shaking moves, which scandalized conservative audiences but thrilled young fans. By 1955, Colonel Tom Parker, a shrewd and sometimes ruthless manager, took over Elvis's career. Parker secured a record deal with RCA Victor, and in 1956, Elvis's first RCA single, Heartbreak Hotel, became a national sensation. His self-titled debut album, featuring hits like Blue Suede Shoes and Hound Dog, cemented his place as a rock and roll pioneer. The king of rock and roll.
Well, they asked me to do it, and I was anxious to do some live appearances. It'd been a long time since I've been on stage in front of anybody live. And I was anxious to do some live appearances, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to get in front of the people.
Elvis's appeal was multifaceted. He had the rebellious energy of a rock star, the deep-rooted influence of gospel and blues, and the charm of a Hollywood leading man. He dominated the music charts, appeared on popular TV shows, and drew massive crowds wherever he performed. His provocative stage movements led to controversy, with critics accusing him of corrupting the youth. Some television programs, including The Ed Sullivan Show, only filmed him from the waist up to downplay his gyrating hips. By 1957, Elvis had become the most famous musician in the world. He bought Graceland, a sprawling mansion in Memphis, which became his lifelong home. His career, however, took a temporary detour when he was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1958. Elvis served in West Germany from 58 to 60, earning respect as a disciplined soldier rather than seeking special treatment. During his service, he met 14-year-old Priscilla Beaulieu, the daughter of an Air Force officer. Their relationship, which later led to marriage, began while he was stationed overseas. While Elvis was away, his mother Gladys died of hepatitis in 1958. A devastating blow that he never fully recovered from. Her death deepened his reliance on prescription medications, a problem that worsened in later years. After being honorably discharged in 1960, Elvis transitioned into Hollywood stardom. Throughout the 60s, he starred in more than 30 films, including Blue Hawaii, Viva Las Vegas, and The Clam Bake. These movies, while often criticized for their formulaic plots, were commercial successes. Their soundtracks also generated hit songs, but many critics felt Elvis was wasting his talents on mediocre material. As the British invasion, led by the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, reshaped the music industry, Elvis's popularity began to wane. Frustrated by the lack of artistic control, he sought a way to reinvent himself. In 1968, he made a triumphant return with the '68 Comeback Special, a televised concert that showcased his raw talent. Dressed in a black leather suit, he performed stripped-down versions of his classic hits, proving that he was still a force to be reckoned with. The special revitalized his career, leading to a return to live performances. Elvis soon embarked on a record-breaking Las Vegas residency, performing at the International Hotel. His concerts featured dazzling jumpsuits, an orchestra, and a powerful vocal delivery that captivated audiences. Hits like Suspicious Minds, In the Ghetto, and Burning Love reaffirmed his relevance. While professionally successful, his personal life was unraveling. His marriage to Priscilla ended in divorce in 1973, and his health deteriorated due to an increasing dependence on prescription drugs. His weight fluctuated, and he suffered from various ailments, including hypertension and an enlarged heart. Death and new details.
I exercise every day. I vocalize every day. I practice if I'm working or not. So I just try to stay in shape all the time.
On August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley was found unresponsive in the bathroom of Graceland. He was pronounced dead at age 42. Initially, his cause of death was attributed to heart failure, but it was widely believed that his long-term prescription drug use played a significant role. For years, speculation surrounded the exact circumstances of his death. Some believe he had died purely of natural causes, while others suspected a drug overdose. Recently, new details have emerged, suggesting that his chronic constipation caused by years of opiate use was a contributing factor. According to his former physician and medical reports, Elvis's colon was significantly enlarged, which may have led to a fatal heart attack. Additionally, some experts have theorized that he suffered from an undiagnosed autoimmune disease that may have contributed to his declining health. In 1994, the autopsy report was revisited by coroner Joseph Davis, who concluded that there was no evidence of a drug overdose. He suggested that Presley likely experienced a sudden, violent heart attack, possibly while attempting to use the bathroom, a scenario consistent with the circumstances of his death. Adding another layer to the discussion, Dr. Forrest Tennant, who reviewed Presley's medical records, proposed that a head injury sustained in 1967 might have led to an autoimmune inflammatory disorder. This condition could have contributed to Presley's declining health, including symptoms like chronic pain and megacolon, further complicating his medical profile. The official autopsy report remains sealed until 2027, leaving some aspects of Presley's death open to interpretation. But the prevailing understanding is that a combination of chronic health issues, prescription drug use, and potential underlying conditions culminated in the heart failure that ended the life of the king of rock and roll. Elvis Presley remains one of the most influential artists in history. His pioneering role in rock and roll, blending of musical styles, and charismatic performances revolutionized the industry. He inspired generations of musicians, from the Beatles to Bruce Springsteen, and his impact continues to be felt today. Graceland remains a pilgrimage site for fans, and his music continues to sell millions of copies. The release of new documentaries, films, and books ensures that his story endures. While his final years were marred by health struggles and personal turmoil, his legacy as the king of rock and roll remains untarnished. Elvis may have left the building, but his music, influence, and legend live on. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Elvis Presley? Let us know in the comments section below.